video, and it looked like Alyssa Thomas will be getting fined for doing this in Indiana.
You cannot be there chirping with fans the whole game. You cannot be allegedly telling fans DeWanna chose to join a real battle.
We all expected this. I even called it out before the game in my live. But somehow, booing DeWanna Bonner has become...
The WNBA just saw one of the most disappointing displays of poor sportsmanship in recent memory. A veteran player, who spent the entire game taunting Indiana Fever fans, completely avoided the press afterward, refusing to take responsibility or explain her behavior. It was an unprofessional move that showed a lack of accountability.
So Alyssa Thomas had all the smoke for the Fever fans. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it wasn't just like, just normal smoke. It wasn't just normal beef. It was what people from the country will call Dublin. She had the big smoke. Like, she absolutely had all the beef for, she, let the fans hear it, all of this stuff. Satu there, telling the fans to keep up the booze. And what did they do? They lost. And what did Alyssa do?
This is about a player who believed she could say whatever she wanted, threaten fans, and act like she ran the show. But when it came time to face the media and answer tough questions, she was nowhere to be found. Real professionalism means showing up, even when it's uncomfortable.
Supposed to be a celebration right now in the WNBA dump, but for some reason, and this should come as a surprise to no one, for some reason, WNBA players, they're just not in a joyous mood. They're not in the mood to express their appreciation, their gratitude to the people who gave them something worth celebrating. Instead of showing their appreciation, these bitter, entitled, insufferable players, they continue to engage in a war with their own.
When Alyssa Thomas and the Phoenix Mercury arrived in Indianapolis that tense Wednesday night, she seemed ready to play the villain and thrive on the drama. But instead, she faced a passionate fan base that had every reason to be upset about Dana Bonner, and a league that made it clear her outburst wouldn't be overlooked just because the pressure was on.
Dana Bonner, first time coming back to Indianapolis after pretty much quitting the team. And I'm sticking to my guns saying that she quit the team because in my eyes, that's definitely what she did. Now, she went on record and stated that the role that she had possibly wasn't good enough for her. The fit just wasn't working. But at the end of the day, all of it points to the arrows of what? Quitting the basketball team. There's no way to justify it.
From the opening tip, the tone was set, but Alyssa Thomas was too busy talking trash to notice. She spent the game arguing with fans, making aggressive gestures, and reportedly telling them that Bonner had joined a real team. A real team? Let's take a moment to talk about what's actually real, Alyssa.
Where basically you can see Alyssa Thomas going back and forth with a fan, man. I mean, she just, I don't know if she just can't ignore anybody that's just coming at her. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure it's not anything racist or anything like that. I just think they get under her skin. they just get under her skin. And maybe since her first incident, whatever the case may be, she just didn't like it. So after that, she just can't stand any other female fan.
So what did the WNBA do? Exactly what any serious league should. They fined Thomas and the Mercury for breaking one of the most basic expectations in professional sports, showing up and answering for your actions once the game is over.
2025 WNBA media access policy states no later than 10 minutes following the game, each head coach and 2 players, leading scorer and key contributor per team, be available in separate press conference room for in-person Zoom meetings. AT and the Mercury will likely be fined because they chose to break the rule. It's looking like Alyssa Thomas and the Phoenix Mercury are going to be fined because she just said nah. She just said nah.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. Alyssa Thomas Media No-Show said it all. When she had the chance to speak up, explain her actions, and show real leadership after an impressive personal performance, she didn't hesitate, she disappeared. Gone, just like her team's shot at a title, leaving her coach and teammates to handle the fallout. Per league rules, within 10 minutes of the final buzzer, each team's head coach and 2 players, typically the top scorer and another key contributor, must be available for post-game media, both in person and via Zoom. This isn't a suggestion. It's not optional. And it's definitely not something you get to skip just because you're upset.
We seen Alyssa Thomas jawing at it with fans, kind of, making a complete fool of herself. And now she's finna be getting fined because she refused.
Thomas' decision to bail after the game showed exactly what professionalism doesn't look like. She spent all 4 quarters trash-talking fans, bragging that her partner had joined a real team, and even motioning for fans to meet her after the game. But when it came time for the real post-game responsibility, facing the media, she vanished. The fans weren't fooled. They picked up on the attitude right away and saw the difference for themselves. While Thomas stayed hidden in the locker room, Coach Nate Tibbetts and Kalia Copper stepped up and answered tough questions, like true professionals. Meanwhile, the team's so-called leader acted like a kid who broke something and didn't want to face the consequences.
Now, this is a game of sport, where 2 teams are going against each other, right? 2 rivals, 2 fan bases, right, are going against each other. You are allowed to be talked about. All right. You are allowed to be talked about as long as they are keeping it within the game and, not really attacking anything personal or talking about family members or, you know what crosses the line, right? Y'all know what crosses.
Let's be clear about what really happened in Indianapolis and why the crowd's reaction was not only expected but completely fair. Back in February, Dana Borna signed with the Indiana Fever with big expectations. She was brought in to be a steady veteran presence and help lead Caitlin Clark and a young roster. But instead of stepping up, she lasted just 9 games before walking away. That's not even a quarter of the season. Her performance during that stretch was far from what fans hoped for, averaging just 7.1 points and 3.8 rebounds per game, the lowest numbers of her career. Her shooting was off, her impact was minimal, and she never clicked with the team. Indiana tried everything to make it work. They looked for trade options. They gave her time off. But Borna had clearly checked out. And when no team was willing to take on her hefty $200,000 contract under the league's strict salary cap, she forced the Fever's hand, and was eventually released.
After 3 games in a starting role, Bonner was moved to the bench in favor of shooting guard Lexi Hull, and 6 games later, she was done with the Fever. The Fever originally cited personal reasons for her absence, but what I learned later, again from multiple sources, was that the team was actually actively shopping her on the...
And now Alyssa Thomas wants to act like Indiana fans were out of line for booing a player who gave up on their team after just 9 games. She acted like it was somehow wrong for fans to be upset with someone who cashed a check, gave little effort, and showed no loyalty to the organization. This is where Thomas, and frankly, some others in the WNBA, reveal how unready they are for the spotlight the league is finally starting to get. Booing isn't some outrageous act. It's a normal part of sports. Always has been. When a player leaves under messy circumstances, underperforms, or clearly quits on a team, fans respond. That's not hate, it's passion. It happens in every major sport. NBA fans booed Kevin Durant when he went back to OKC. NFL fans have booed players who demanded trades. MLB fans do it all the time when a player doesn't deliver. And no one makes a big deal out of it. But the moment WNBA fans do the same, suddenly it's treated like a problem. Thomas spent that whole game telling fans Borna had joined a real team. As if the Indiana Fever, who beat her squad without their biggest star, don't count as one. That's the real irony. Despite missing Caitlin Clark, the Fever still beat Phoenix 107-101. If the Mercury are such a real team, why couldn't they get the job done on the road?
I boo people for less. I boo people for way less. Like if somebody played for my team, my favorite team, and they left after 9 to 10 games, wasn't a good fit. I'm sure she dealt with some shit. I'd feel the type of way her coming back into my house. That's just fandom, okay? So, again, open to constructive feedback. I think that's sports, man. I'm going to be booing people all the time. I love it. Boo. I love